All right, so we've got a copy of the 4-Hour Work Week here.
Oh, yeah, a classic.
A classic. And clearly someone wants us to do a deep dive into this.
Yeah, looks like it.
So escaping the 9 to 5, designing a life you love, it's,
Very timely.
yeah, and it's got endorsements from everyone, from, E-Myth founder Michael Maples to Wharton's Dr. Stuart Friedman.
Yeah, a lot of people love this book.
So it's got some serious street cred. But
Sure.
this isn't just a book report. We
Right.
want to get to the good stuff, the
Yeah.
core concepts and how they can work for you.
Absolutely.
So whether you're dreaming of being your own boss or just craving more flexibility in your current gig, let's unpack what the 4-Hour Work Week really has to offer.
Let's get into it.
So to understand where these ideas come from, we got to meet the mastermind himself,
Right.
Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
Now, this guy is not your typical guru.
No.
He's got this wild backstory.
Oh, yeah, he's done it all.
Yeah, from Chinese kickboxing champ to entrepreneur, all while questioning the very definition of success.
Yeah, and not afraid to share his struggles either.
Oh, totally.
That whole chronology of pathology
Yeah.
section where he talks about accidentally asking his Japanese host's mom for something, just say very inappropriate,
Oh, yeah.
hilarious, and kind of insightful.
Yeah, it's like he's telling us, hey, I've messed up, I've burned out, but that's what led me to this whole new way of thinking.
Yeah, makes the whole new rich philosophy a lot more relatable.
Totally. It's not just about being a millionaire. It's about what Ferriss calls lifestyle design.
Right.
It's about having the freedom to work when you want travel, pursue your passions, basically living life on your own terms.
Yeah, it's new rich versus, I guess, the deferrers,
Yeah.
the folks that grind away now, hoping to enjoy life later,
Yeah.
retire at 65.
Yeah. What if that enjoyment never comes?
Exactly.
And it reminds me of that story of the Olympic hopeful Dale Bear.
Uh-huh.
This guy was killing it in his sport and running a business.
Wow, impressive.
But his coaches were all over him about focusing on training, not his entrepreneurial side.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic example of that clash.
Yeah.
This idea that you have to sacrifice everything now for some future reward.
Right.
The new rich are like, hold up, what if we can have it all and have it now?
Yeah, that's a pretty radical shift, isn't it?
It is.
It's like Ferriss is saying, screw the rules, I'm playing a different game.
Mm-hmm.
He even has that principle, everything popular is wrong.
Right.
What's that all about?
Well, he uses the example of winning that Chinese kickboxing championship.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone else was focused on, brute force.
Yeah.
He realized he could win by simply pushing his opponents out of the ring.
Interesting.
Totally legal, but unexpected.
Uh-huh.
He did the uncommon, and it worked brilliantly.
So it's about finding those loopholes, those unconventional solutions that nobody else is even considering.
Exactly.
And this applies to income, too.
Yeah.
He makes a distinction between absolute income and relative income. So the new rich aren't just chasing bigger paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
They're focused on earning more per hour.
Yes.
So they can have more time and freedom.
It's not about how much you earn. It's about what that income buys you
Okay.
in terms of time and freedom.
So someone working 10 hours a week and making $50,000 a year
Right.
might actually be richer than someone working 80 hours and making $100,000.
Exactly.
They have more time to live.
More time to live.
And remember Hans, the lawyer who quit to start a surf company?
Oh, yeah.
He probably made less overall, but he gained something far more valuable.
For sure.
Time to live his passion.
Time to live his passion.
I bet a lot of people listening are thinking, sure, that sounds amazing,
Right.
but it's risky.
Of course.
Leaving a stable job, starting a business, what if it all goes wrong?
Fear.
Yeah, and that's where I think that fear-setting concept comes in, right?
That's a big one.
So Ferriss doesn't tell you to ignore fear.
No.
He says define your nightmare.
Okay.
What's the absolute worst that could happen if you took that leap?
Face your fears.
Yeah, he even shares that story about Jean-Marc, who ended up living on cornmeal mush in Ghana when his teaching gig went south.
Wow.
But even in that situation, which sounds pretty rough,
Yeah.
Jean-Marc found a level of contentment he hadn't experienced before.
That's interesting.
And it highlights that even what we perceive as failure can lead to unexpected growth and resilience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that those worst-case scenarios we imagine
Right.
are rarely as bad as they seem.
Yeah.
And even if they are, we're usually a lot tougher than we think.
We are.
Okay, so we've faced our fears now. What's
next?
How do we actually start designing that ideal life?
Yeah.
That's where that deal framework comes in, right?
The deal framework.
It starts with de-definition.
Okay.
Before you can eliminate, automate, or liberate yourself, you have to define what you actually want.
Makes sense.
I love that anecdote about Ferriss bribing his Princeton students.
Oh, yeah. What did he do?
He offered a free trip to whoever completed a challenge, but he didn't even tell them what the challenge was.
Oh, wow.
It was a brilliant way to show them that defining your goals is crucial,
Yeah,
but also that you need to be flexible and open to creative solutions.
absolutely.
And that's where dreamlining comes in, right?
Dreamlining.
So you identify what you want your life to look like in 3 categories: being, doing, and having.
Okay, break that down for me.
So being is about the qualities you want to embody.
Hmm.
Like being a great cook or a more confident public speaker
Okay.
is about the activities you want to engage in,
Yeah.
traveling or writing a book.
I hate it.
And having is about the material things or resources you desire,
Okay.
like owning a home or achieving financial freedom.
All right, so you've got your dream life.
Yeah, but how do you turn those vague aspirations into a concrete plan?
Right, because it's easy to dream,
Yeah.
but how do you turn it into a reality?
Well, Ferriss emphasizes the importance of converting those being goals into actionable doing goals.
Okay.
So, for example, if you want to be a great cook,
Yeah. You might set a goal of taking a cooking class or mastering a certain type of cuisine.
makes sense.
And it's crucial to set concrete timelines and even cost estimates for achieving those goals.
So you're basically creating a roadmap for your dream life.
Exactly.
But I bet a lot of people get stuck at this stage.
Oh, yeah?
It's easy to dream, but harder to turn those dreams into reality.
Totally.
Yeah.
What does Ferriss say about overcoming that hurdle?
Well, that's where the E in deal comes, in elimination.
Okay.
It's about ruthlessly cutting out distractions and low-value activities
Uh-huh.
to free up time and energy for those things that truly matter.
All right, so cut the crap.
Cut the crap.
Get to the good stuff.
Exactly. And to really master this elimination phase, Ferriss introduces us to our old friend, the 80-20 principle,
Right.
also known as Pareto's Law.
Pareto's Law.
This idea that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts.
Yeah.
But the flip side is where things get interesting.
Okay.
80% of your wasted time and energy probably comes from just 20% of your activities. So it's not just about working harder. It's about working smarter,
Exactly.
identifying those high-impact activities,
Yes.
and ruthlessly cutting out the rest.
Ruthlessly.
But how do you actually figure out what to keep and what to ditch?
Ferriss provides a whole toolkit for that.
Okay.
He encourages us to look at our work, our routines, even our relationships through this 80-20 lens. For example, he talks about how he dropped 95% of his customers
Whoa.
and actually saw his profits increase.
That's pretty counterintuitive.
It is.
Most businesses are obsessed with getting more customers, not fewer.
Right. More is always better.
Yeah.
But this is a perfect example of how challenging conventional wisdom can lead to extraordinary results.
Okay.
By focusing on his most valuable clients, Ferriss freed up time and energy
Yeah.
to grow his business more strategically.
It's like that saying, work smarter, not harder.
There it is.
But how do we apply this to our own lives?
Right.
I mean, most of us don't have the luxury of just firing our customers.
Well, Ferriss gives a ton of practical advice on this.
Okay.
He talks about eliminating time-wasting meetings, batching tasks, and learning to say no gracefully.
Oh, that's a hard one.
It is.
Yeah.
He even provides scripts for politely declining requests and setting boundaries.
Oh, that would be useful.
Yeah,
I think that's something a lot of us struggle with, myself included.
me too.
It's so easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of busyness and feel like we have to say yes to everything.
He's really adamant about protecting your time and energy.
Okay.
He argues that if you don't consciously design your life, someone else will design it for you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've defined our ideal lifestyle.
Yes.
We've eliminated the unessential.
Out with the unessential.
Now, how do we make those dreams a reality?
All right, let's get into it.
This is where the A in deal comes in automation, right?
Automation.
This is about creating a business that basically runs itself,
Okay.
allowing you to live that 4-hour workweek life.
Sounds pretty good.
But how do you even begin to build something like that?
This is where Ferriss really shines.
Okay.
He's a master of building systems and leveraging technology to create what he calls income autopilot.
Income autopilot.
He encourages us to find a muse, a product or service that can be automated and generates passive income.
So you're making money while you sleep?
Exactly. He uses the example of Doug, who built a successful business selling sound effects on eBay,
Wow.
working just a few hours a week.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He didn't create those sound effects. He just connected buyers with sellers.
Right.
It's a brilliant example of how you can create a profitable business without having to invent something from scratch.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
But how do you find that perfect muse?
Ferriss suggests a few different approaches.
Okay.
You can resell existing products like Doug did, tapping into existing marketplaces like Alibaba, Amazon, or eBay.
So just buy low, sell high?
Exactly. You can also create informational products like ebooks, online courses, or coaching programs,
Oh,
leveraging your own expertise.
so if you're a whiz at something, cooking, photography, coding, whatever, you can package that knowledge and sell it online.
Exactly. And he even talks about licensing, where you grant others the right to use your intellectual property.
Like a patent or a design.
Exactly. The key is to find something you're passionate about or knowledgeable in and figure out how to create a product or service that people are willing to pay for.
Okay, so you've got your muse, but how do you actually build a business that runs on autopilot?
Ferriss is all about outsourcing and automation.
Okay.
He recommends using fulfillment houses to handle order processing, shipping, and customer service.
So you're not tied to the day-to-day grind of running the business.
Right. He even suggests hiring virtual assistants to manage your email schedule appointments and handle other administrative tasks.
So you're basically building a team of virtual experts to do all the things you don't want to do or don't have time to do?
Exactly. He even breaks down his own business architecture, showing you how to delegate and automate almost every aspect of your business.
That's amazing. But what about customer service?
Yeah.
Don't you have to be available to answer questions and deal with issues?
Well, Ferriss is big on proactive communication.
Okay.
He suggests creating detailed FAQs and setting up autoresponders to handle common questions.
So you're basically creating systems to prevent those fires from starting in the first place.
Exactly. And if something does come up that requires your attention, you can handle it efficiently without letting it derail your entire day.
Okay, so you've got your business running smoothly. Now it's time for the L in deal, liberation.
Liberation.
This is about escaping the 9 to 5 and achieving location independence.
Do dream.
But how do you actually make that transition?
Ferriss has different advice for employees versus entrepreneurs.
Okay.
If you're an employee, he recommends proving your value and building trust with your boss before you make any requests to work remotely.
So don't just waltz into your boss's office and say, I want to work from Bali.
Probably not a good idea. He suggests using tools like GoToMeeting and other remote access software to show your boss that you can still collaborate effectively and attend meetings virtually.
And I love how he suggests subtly planting seeds by mentioning articles or stories about successful remote workers.
Oh, yeah.
You're basically normalizing the idea and showing your boss that it can work.
Exactly. It's about shifting their mindset and demonstrating that remote work can be beneficial for everyone involved.
Okay.
And if you're an entrepreneur, you're already in a position to create a location-independent business from the ground up.
Right. But even if you're starting with a traditional brick-and-mortar business,
Yeah.
Ferriss suggests finding ways to gradually transition to a more remote model.
Okay.
Maybe by offering some services online or exploring e-commerce options.
Makes sense.
Okay, so you've escaped the cubicle, your business is humming along, now it's time to book that flight and embark on those mini retirements.
The fun part.
But where do you even begin?
Well, Ferriss recommends starting by defining your ideal travel experience. What are you looking for? Adventure, relaxation, cultural immersion.
Right. There are so many options.
He's a big advocate for slow travel, really immersing yourself in a place rather than rushing from one tourist attraction to the next.
I like that.
He encourages you to get lost intentionally, have long dinners with locals, and really absorb the rhythm of life in a different culture.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah,
It's about experiencing a place, not just seeing it.
exactly.
But what about finding affordable accommodation?
Ferriss is a master of budget travel.
Okay.
He suggests using sites like Airbnb and VRBO to rent apartments or houses, which can be much more affordable than hotels, especially for longer stays.
Yeah. Hotels can get expensive.
He even talks about house sitting or pet sitting, which can allow you to live rent-free in amazing locations.
Oh, that's thinking outside the box.
It is.
But what about the financial side of things?
Yeah.
A lot of people might think mini retirements are a luxury they can't afford.
Well, Ferriss is a huge advocate for what he calls geo-arbitrage,
Your arbitrage.
which is basically taking advantage of lower living costs in other countries.
Right.
He argues that you can live very comfortably, even luxuriously in many parts of the world, for a fraction of what you'd spend in the U.S. or Europe.
So you're stretching your travel budget by living in places where your money goes further.
Exactly. He provides tons of examples of his own spending in different countries.
Oh, cool.
He shows you how to live well, have amazing experiences, and still stay within a reasonable budget.
That's reassuring.
It is.
But what about practical things like mail and phone calls?
Right.
Do you have to disconnect completely while you're on a mini retirement?
Well, he's got solutions for that too.
Okay.
He suggests using services like Earth-class mail to scan and forward your mail electronically,
Oh.
and setting up a virtual phone number that can ring on your cell phone no matter where you are in the world.
You're essentially creating a virtual office that travels with you.
Exactly. So
Wow.
you're connected but not tethered. You can manage your business and stay in touch with loved ones without sacrificing the freedom and flexibility of a mini retirement.
This all sounds incredible.
It is.
But let's be honest.
Okay.
Escaping the rat race and achieving financial freedom is great.
Yeah.
But what about finding meaning and purpose outside of work?
Right.
How do you avoid that feeling of emptiness, that existential vacuum that Ferriss talks about?
That's a big question.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point of all this freedom if you don't know what to do with it?
Right.
You've got the time, the money, the location and independence, but you're staring out at a beautiful beach wondering now, what?
Well, Ferriss doesn't shy away from this.
No, he doesn't.
He's refreshingly honest about the challenges of lifestyle design.
Yeah.
Remember that panic attack he had in London during his first mini retirement?
Oh, yeah.
It's proof that even when you achieve those outward markers of success, freedom, money, adventure,
Yeah.
it doesn't automatically equal happiness.
Yeah. It's almost like those things we chase so hard can actually mask those deeper questions about purpose and meaning.
I think that's true for a lot of people.
He even says straight up, being busy is a form of laziness, lazy thinking, and indiscriminate action.
Ouch.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
It's like we fill our lives with busyness to avoid confronting those bigger questions. But Ferriss argues that this existential vacuum can be a good thing.
Okay.
It forces us to define our values, explore our passions, and figure out what truly makes us tick.
So instead of freaking out about feeling lost or directionless, we should see it as an opportunity for growth.
Exactly, an opportunity.
Yeah, he encourages us to embrace the discomfort experiment, try new things, and see what sparks our interest.
Yeah, and he even pushes back against this whole find your passion thing.
Right.
He's more about creating your passion.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, what if you've never had the time or the freedom to even explore what you're passionate about?
Right.
He says to just try stuff.
Yeah, get out there.
Take a class. Volunteer travel to a new place and see what resonates with you.
Exactly. He's all about action, about getting out of your head and into the world.
Yeah.
And I think a really important part of this is what he says about service.
Oh, yeah.
Finding ways to contribute to something larger than yourself to make a positive impact on the world.
And that doesn't have to mean starting a nonprofit or quitting your job to join the Peace Corps.
Right.
It could be something as simple as volunteering at a local soup kitchen or mentoring a kid in your neighborhood.
Exactly. It's about finding ways to use your skills, your time, your resources to make a difference, however small.
Yeah.
And I think that's where true fulfillment comes from.
Okay.
Not just achieving your own goals, but helping others achieve theirs.
Ferriss even offers a bunch of practical tips for finding service opportunities that align with your interests.
Yeah, he does.
He talks about using sites like Just Giving and Network for Good to connect with charities and volunteer organizations.
So it's not just a theoretical concept. He gives you the tools and resources to actually take action.
Right.
And I think this ties back to his whole philosophy of lifestyle design.
Yeah.
It's not just about escaping the 9 to 5. It's about creating a life of meaning and purpose.
All right, so meaning and purpose.
Is the goal.
And one final point that really struck me, the idea of defining your deal breakers.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
What are those non-negotiable aspects of your life that you're not willing to compromise on no matter what?
That's crucial. It's about setting clear boundaries and making sure that your pursuit of freedom and flexibility doesn't come at the expense of your core values.
Right.
He talks about how important this is in relationships and work, even in your own personal goals.
Like if spending time with your family is a top priority, your deal breaker might be that you never work on weekends or after 6 p.m.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or if your health is super important,
Yeah.
you might set a deal breaker that you always make time for exercise, no matter how busy you are.
You got to prioritize.
Yeah.
It's about being intentional, about making conscious choices that align with your values and priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this concept applies even if you're not going for the full 4-hour work week.
Right.
It's about living a life that's designed by you, not by circumstance or by default.
So we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From defining your ideal lifestyle and eliminating the unessential to automating your income, liberating yourself from the 9 to 5, and even finding meaning and purpose.
Yeah. Lots to think about.
But as Ferriss says, this is just the beginning.
Right.
It's about taking this information, these tools and these ideas, and applying them to your own unique situation.
It's a journey.
He gives you a framework, a roadmap, but ultimately it's up to you to create the life you want.
You're in the driver's seat.
So our deep dive into the 4-hour work week comes to an end.
It does.
But I hope the conversation continues for you.
I hope so too.
What are your deal breakers? What kind of impact do you want to make on the world? What would you do if you had the time and freedom to pursue your passions and live life on your own terms?
Those are the big questions.
These are the questions Ferriss wants us to grapple with.
Yeah, she does.
And I hope this deep dive has given you the inspiration and the courage to start designing a life that's truly worthy of your dreams.
I hope so too.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.